I'm just trying to help you.
I never ever asked anyone to do that.
Yeah, you did.
I never ever did.
At one point, you said, if you see me, whatever, just try to reel me in. So we were like, all right. So we would say something and you'd get mad. I'm like, well, I'm not going to reel him in anymore. Like, forget it.
If you see something, say something.
Right.
Unless it's to me.
I don't know. I disagree with that, with her story. I don't remember asking anyone for help.
Yeah, you did.
Anyway, so, okay, we got to move on. There's a reason why Diamond's here, other than the fact we love her. Diamond, Gandhi said that you brought up this interesting, thought-provoking conversation topic.
Yes, because she's an intellectual.
Yeah, she is. I love it, by the way. I love it, and I've actually seen this in action before. But go ahead.
So my question was, because we came in at 5:30 this morning, Danielle and I are complaining about our lives, and I just thought to myself, like, would you rather live the life that we're all living now, where you see how great life is or how great life could be? You're around people who live extravagant lifestyles if you don't live that life yourself. And would you rather live that life where you're seeing that, but you have like a tendency to just complain about like BS? Nothing that really is life altering is going on in our lives right now. So like we don't really have much to complain about, but we really fixate on these like little things? Or would you rather live a life where you're just oblivious to everything? You are around people who don't make as much, but you're fulfilled and happy because you just think that this is the way that life is, even though it's probably really hard for them or you, whoever. Would you rather live that life where you're oblivious to how hard your life actually is? Which one would you rather do?
Option 2.
Yeah, option 2.
That's what I said.
Option 1. Option
Hold on. Scary's already living a life of oblivion. Oblivious.
I do walk around aloof. That's okay. But why wouldn't you want the finer things in life?
Because if you don't even know you're missing the finer things in life, then you don't need them.
Okay, can we? Well, so you gave an example, Gandhi. Yes. I guess it was when you're having this conversation with Diamond about, let's say, a tribe living in Africa.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Let's take it to the extremes, right? So let's say that there is a tribe in Africa, and they spend every day hunting for food, growing their food, getting their water, only hanging out with each other, and that's the life they enjoy. They don't know that they're missing out on Gucci, Fendi, Prada, social media, beer, excess, this extravagance that we all live. They're happy. Every day they're happy. That does seem like a better life than what we are doing right now.
When you look at pictures, like, how some of these countries, they still wear like little loincloth things, and that's all the guys wear, and nobody blinks an eye, and that's their life. And like you said, they're doing all these other things, and they have no idea. And I go, wow, even though they're having a hard life, they may not know it's a hard life, and that it's just to them, they don't miss those things. They don't need those things. Like, to feel that way must be
amazing,
right?
Oh my God.
Well, okay, I saw this in action when Alex and I were in Africa, in Tanzania, several years ago. Our friend Vianney said, "Hey, there is a tribe here that is welcoming to visitors, to people who are on safari, and would you like to go run with them for the day?" He said, "It's eye-opening." I said, "Yes, and I wish we could go do this, and we may do this one day. I've always wanted to take us all on safari." But listen, so we met up with this safari. It took 3 translators to be able to communicate with them.
Wow.
Because their language is so far from ours is so far from them. But they're like, all right, let's go. So yes, there was loinclothage going on. Some of the women were topless and had their babies who were, breastfeeding from time to time, and this and that, whatever. They don't care. They don't know what day of the week it is. They don't care. So our first stop was this big tree full of killer bees who were doing their honeycombs in the tree. They went to the tree. They used some sort of man-made machete thing to open up the bark. They built a fire using sticks, and they smoked these bees out as best as they could and grabbed the honeycomb out, and that was their breakfast.
Wow.
And they passed it around and ate it for breakfast.
Wow.
They shared it with us. One guy, the guy with the longest loincloth, he actually got stung. He was getting stung by these bees that would probably make us call the hospital. Next stop, the women were foraging for plants and flowers they used that are medicinal because one of their friends is about to have a baby and they needed it to cut the pain. Wow. And then we stopped, and this one guy out of nowhere went, bop, 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 whatever his language was. He pulled out a bow and arrow and boom, right into the bushes next to a tree. He hit a rabbit, killed a rabbit.
Wow.
It wasn't dead yet. He pulled the rabbit out. We didn't see the rabbit. He did, because this is what he does every day. The rabbit wasn't dead, so he put his teeth around the rabbit's neck and killed it to put it out of its misery.
Okay, wow.
We then went and built a fire, and while they were building the fire, they were getting the rabbit ready to eat. This was their lunch. Wow. Then they burned the fur off of the rabbit. Then they used this machete thing to scrape all the fur off. They pulled the meat out. There was no salt, pepper. There was no hot sauce.
Oh my God. Wow.
And this was their lunch. And this is what they do every single day.
My only question with this is if somebody gets really sick, they don't have access to any of the medicines and stuff that we have, right?
They don't want it.
How is this a better life than Fendi Gucci Prada?
Because they don't know Fendi. They don't know Fendi Gucci Prada.
Yeah, they don't know any of this stuff.
They've seen cameras and phones because they see it in our hands, but we asked if they wanted to play with it. They're like, no, they're scared of it.
But the barbaric way that you describe the primitive ways of like gnawing on the
scary.
neck.
But it's barbaric to you.
Stung.
And they don't know.
To you.
But that's pain.
There's stuff
Gandhi, give him the point. And Diamond, give him the point we're trying to talk about here.
If you don't know what you don't know, how do you miss it? If they have never tasted salt or pepper or seasoning, they don't miss it. If they're not constantly worrying about keeping up with other people and what will they think, how do they miss it? We've created all of these constructs to stress ourselves out, and based on this conception of society and community that's telling us what we should be doing. They don't have that. They're probably happier. They're probably mentally healthier. As far as getting sick, I have a feeling they don't get the same sicknesses because they're probably not around the same.
Yeah, they're just around
agents.
themselves too, and if they're all just together, they're not bringing in anything.
And
like,
exercising, they're exercising.
And Scary could never go there to see it in action because his cell phone wouldn't work, and there's no way he could possibly be there.
It does not work there. Scary.
Yeah.
Do you miss your children?
I don't have any children.
Exactly. So how can you ever talk about what it's like having a child and missing your child? Do you miss your 350-foot yacht? No, never had one.
Checkmate.
I mean, it's a very stupid way of explaining it, but you don't miss what you don't have. These people, they don't even know what day of the week is. They don't need to know. They don't need to know.
Ignorance really is bliss, and ignorance doesn't have to be a bad thing. It's just I don't have that thing, I don't know about that thing, so I don't miss that thing.
Right.
I read a quote, it's one of my favorites. It says, somewhere, some poor phoneless fool is probably sitting next to a waterfall, totally unaware of how angry and scared he's supposed to be.
Yeah. Oh, wow, I love that.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and I think that all the time, like, yeah, man, before all of this stuff, people might have been happier. It was a simpler time. It's a good thing. Diamond,
What up,
good
Nate?
thought provoker.
Wow.
My brother uses his phone to text and make phone calls. He doesn't have any apps on it. When he was here a couple of weeks ago, he showed me his screen time, 17 minutes for the day.
That's amazing.
That was it.
That's amazing.
That was it. And that was texting his daughters and texting his wife and making a phone call.
I tell you,
That was it.
when we're on vacation, sometimes I will put it on the other side of the room and not look at it all day. I won't turn on the television. And then you don't know, like, the news that you've missed or whatever. And sometimes that feeling is amazing. It is the best. And then when you turn it on and you have to catch up, you go, oh gosh, why did I turn it on?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Wow. Yeah, again, Diamond, thank you. And Gandhi, thanks for telling us that Diamond brought that to you. I love it.
And
She had a
intellectual.
good thought today.
Yes.
I love that she said she had a good thought today.
Yeah. It happens
week,
once in a while.
Garbage.
Every other time it's like, did you see what Teresa did? The Real Housewives of fill in the blank. Oh my God.
Losers.
Oh, my God.
Another free money phone tap coming up next.
Just call here again.
For the Elvis Duran in the Morning Show free money phone tap, no purchase necessary. Void in Montana, New Mexico, Washington, and where prohibited. For more info and rules, go to elvisduran.com/contest. Elvis Duran in the Morning Show. Go!